I just got the funniest meme. I'm going to try to make a snapshot of that and put it on this video. It's so funny. It's Peter holding his hand up in the water. He's sinking in the ocean. Jesus, can you show me the way? Jesus is all, sure, but only if you buy my course for $333. It's funny. Anyways, I got, that was a funny one. Thank you, PJ, for that one. So there's some interesting things that we should probably look up. And I'm sorry that I have my little iPad. It's going to be making noises while I do this because I need to look at all these. Oh my gosh, 7 CFR 270. That's definition of the common trust fund. Hey, I think we need to look up that. So let's look up 7 CFR subsection 273C-4. We're going to start with that first. Let me see. How do I do this? Ooh. I want to share the screen, but I don't want to share that particular screen. Okay. How do you do this? Okay, let me see. Wait. Safari. So we're going to look up 7 CFR. Let's just go there first. Oh, agriculture. That's interesting. Weird. That's so weird. So we're like agriculture. Is that what we are? So we're going to look up 7 CFR, Code of Federal Regulations. Come on. Is it going to happen? Gee whiz, man. I guess I could open up all these screens ahead of time, but I get so excited sometimes when I get a message and I go, I need to look it up right away. So, you know, it's hot off the press. It's like hot cross buns, fresh out of the oven. I just want to share it with everybody. Go to CFR reference. Okay, we're going to look up 7 CFR, and then it's 270.3C-4. Let's see if this takes us anywhere. Go to CFR reference. Wow, 404 message. What's that? Maybe I'll try here. We'll just do it again. 7 CFR 270.3. Let's just start with that one. See if that'll take us there. 270.3C. All titles. Well, let me see. Well, I don't know. -4, 7 CFR. Title 7 is agricultural, right? Oh, okay. Let me try this. -4. Let me see if this will show us anything. God, you had to be really specific with this stuff. And look at that. It says no results found. I don't like it when that happens. I think it's, I don't know how to do the subsection thing. Do you guys know how to do that? You know, when you make the little marking. Subsection. Let me see. All right. Man, it's overwhelming when you look at this stuff. We're looking for 270.3C. CFR. I guess I can put a comma maybe, because I don't know how to do the subsection. 270.3C. 4. No, search. Try and see that. Is that happening? This is the bad thing about this. Sometimes it doesn't always show. What up? Am I even sharing the screen? Maybe I'm not. Let's try sharing the screen again and see if it's going to happen. Share the screen. I don't think I was sharing the screen there. Okay, so let me just see here. Boop. Now I'm sharing the screen. Okay. Yeah, so I put it in 7 CFR and then I put a comma because I don't know how to do that subsection thing. Is that what that means? I don't know. I feel so lame. It says no results found. I know it's in there. Let's just try to go with 7 CFR. All right, I'll do this again. Search. I'm doing it again. It says no results found. So, you know, that's not true. We're just going to try the 7 CFR and see if that's going to do anything. This is what's frustrating. I don't know how to search it all out. And if I scroll down, what is all of that? Oh, those are subtitles of something else. You know, we're looking for what, 270? Let me look. We're looking for subtitle 270. How do you find that? Subsection 270. How come it's way up high like that? Oh, should I be saying chapter? No, I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to say chapter 270.3c. This is where you can get really lost and then you just go into like what do they call it, trauma coma. That's, I just named it that. Yeah, where you just like give up because you can't find stuff. So let me just see if it's 7 CFR. I'm going to take off title 7, even though I'm thinking that that's title 7, but let me see. 7 CFR, we're going to try this again. Should I say chapter 270? Is there such thing? 0.3c? I don't know if there's a chapter 270. I don't think so. See how it says subsection? Well, we're looking for subsection. Title 17. No, I don't know what that is. I don't know how to look at this stuff. This is what's frustrating. I'm about to start from the top. You know, I think I'm going to have to just go. Well, I already did this already. How many times have I done this now? 3 or 4 times. C, F, R. How do you do the subsection thing? It doesn't have any keyboard thing on here. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to make that subsection thing. You know, I'll put an S. What's that going to do? I don't know. 270.3. See. Yeah, bad enough. This is really driving me nuts. I'm going to have to seriously, when that pops up again, I'm going to have to stop it because that's just really messing with my brain. All right, down here. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay, where? Do you see all this stuff? Is this for crazy making? I think so. I think they do all this legalese stuff to make you crazy. Title 12, no. It's supposed to be CFR, 7 CFR 270.3C-4, definition of common trust fund. That's what I'm looking up. I'm trying to look that up. It doesn't say. Like, I hate have to read the whole damn website just to learn something. And I don't want to do that. I don't see nothing. What's up with the Title 12, banks and banking? What's 7 CFR, first of all? I want to know. I thought I saw where it said something else. Didn't 7 CFR, Code of Federal Regulations, say? I don't know. Well, maybe 7 is agriculture, Title 7. Someone tell me about title. What does that mean? 7 CFR. Which one is the title? I don't know. I don't know how to do this. What would Title 12 be? Let me see. Title 12 is banks and banking. Yeah, okay. Using the CFR point in time system, understanding the CFR. I don't want to read this whole entire Code of Federal Regulations website just to know how to use it. That's what's so frustrating. Like, you know, when somebody's giving you like a clue, I hate that you have to like freaking do Easter egg hunting. It sucks. Like, you need to explain this stuff to me if you're going to give it to me. I'm just saying. 26 CFR, definition of real estate investment trust. All right. That's a 26 CFR. That's not 7. Then there's 5 CFR, trust, estates, and investment funds. Title 26. This is, I feel like a preschooler, or maybe no, an infant. Yeah. You know what an infant is, right? Yeah. Okay, maybe I'm a zygote. I don't know how to operate this kind of stuff. This is what's frustrating to me. All right, we're going to do 5 CFR. I don't know how to do the subsection thing. How do you get to the subsection thing? See that thing right there? I don't know how to do that thing. But now I'm looking for 2634. I'm getting close. I'm just going to click on one of these. Oh my gosh, look at how terrible this is. Like, where am I going? What am I doing? Am I an April Fool here? I'm being sent on some Easter egg hunt and I don't even know what I'm doing. It's frustrating. Jesus, I'll take your course for $333 because this is ridiculous. All right, so it's overwhelming. This is awful. 5 CFR 2634. I see that we're at 2635. So let me just go back and see if there's 237. Whatever. Yeah. No, I really don't see how I can understand this. It's frustrating. 5 CFR. You know, when someone's trying to like give you clues on something, but you can't go past go because you don't know how to put in the subsection little dingy thing. I don't know how to put that in because it's not on the keyboard. Like, I don't know. I don't see anything that says subsection. I see the peso sign, the and sign. I don't know how to put that subsection thing in that's right there. 5 CFR 2634. Let's just see if we could use 2634.312. We're looking for trusts and estates. Hey, I found it. I didn't even put that thing in there. Okay, good. Here it is. 264.312. Yeah, trusts, estates, and investment funds. So why are we looking at this? I'm just wondering. What are we looking at? Trust estates and investment funds, number 1 in general, except as otherwise provided in the section, each financial disclosure report must include the information required by the subpart about the holdings of and income from the holdings of any trust, estate, investment fund, or other financial arrangement from which income is received by or with respect to which a beneficial interest in principal or income is held by the filer's spouse, or the dependent child. I'm kind of feeling like a dependent child right now, not knowing how to make things bigger and this and that. How do I make it bigger? Where's the thing? Come on. Nope, not showing me nothing. Okay, great. Command plus maybe? Hey, I just did it. That's a miracle. I took a wild guess just now. Command plus, that's what makes it zoom in there. Okay, that's good to know. And the way I have it on here is I had to go up on the top and put in the deal, and the address deal. So instead of shaking a paper in front of buddy. All right, so information about the underlying holdings of a trust is required if the filer's spouse, or dependent child currently is entitled to receive income from the trust, or is entitled to access the principal of the trust. If a filer's spouse or dependent child has a beneficial interest in a trust that either will provide income or the ability to access the principal in the future, the filer should determine whether there is a vested interest in the trust under controlling state law. However, no information about the underlying holdings of the trust is required for a non-vested beneficial interest in the principal or income of a trust. Well, that's kind of interesting right there. I mean, this is kind of saying that the trustee is the one that's got to do the filing if the beneficiary person is going to be getting some of that income from the trust, right? And that it says that we are not necessarily required for a non-vested beneficial interest. That we don't have the information about it, right? Because I don't have the information, duh. Well, let's see, note to paragraph A, nothing in this section requires the reporting of the holdings or income. Hey, what? Nothing in this section requires the reporting of the holdings or income of a revocable inter vivos trust, also known as a living trust, with respect to which the filer's spouse or dependent child has only a remainder in trust, whether or not vested, provided that the grantor of the trust is neither the filer. See? You can't be the grantor of the trust. You can't be the filer. The filer's spouse, nor the filer's dependent child. Furthermore, nothing in this section requires the reporting of the holdings, or income of a revocable inter vivos trust from which the filer's spouse or dependent child receives any discretionary distribution, provided that the grantor of the trust is neither the filer's spouse, nor the filer's dependent child. Qualified trusts and accepted trusts. A filer should not report information about the holdings of or income from holdings of any qualified blind trust as defined in 2634.402, or any qualified diversified trust as defined in 2634.402. For a qualified blind trust, that's what I feel like. Qualified blind trust. A public financial disclosure report must disclose the category of the aggregate amount of the trust's income attributable to the beneficial interest of the filer's spouse, or dependent child in the trust. For a qualified diversified trust, a public financial disclosure report must disclose the category of the aggregate amount of income with respect to such a trust, which is actually received by the filer's spouse or dependent child, or applied for the benefit of any of them. That went over my head. So I would have to, listen to this again. In the case of an accepted trust, a filer should indicate the general nature of its holdings to the extent known, but will not otherwise need to report information about the trust holdings or income from holdings. The category of the aggregate amount of income from an accepted trust, which is received by the filer's spouse, or dependent child, must be reported, on public financial disclosure reports, For purposes of this part, the term accepted trust means a trust. One, which was not created directly by the filer, spouse, or dependent child, and the holdings or source of income of which the filer, spouse, or dependent child have no specific knowledge through a report, disclosure, or constructive receipt, whether intended or inadvertent. I don't know what that means, but I don't know how much is in the trust that they made for me. C, accepted investment funds. 1, no information is required under paragraph A of this section about the underlying holdings of or income from underlying holdings of an accepted investment fund as defined in paragraph C2 of the section, except that the fund itself must be identified as an interest in property and or a source of income. Filers must also disclose the category of value of the fund interest held, aggregate amount of income from the fund which is received by the filer's spouse, or dependent child, and value of any transactions involving shares or units of the fund. 2, for purposes of financial disclosure reports filed under the provisions of this part, an accepted investment fund means a widely held investment fund with it, whether a mutual fund, regulated investment company, common trust fund maintained by a bank or similar financial institution, pension or deferred compensation plan, or any other pooled investment fund, if one, A, the fund is publicly traded, or available, or B, the assets of the fund are widely diversified, and 2, the filer neither exercises control over nor has the ability to exercise control over the financial interests held by the fund. That works right here. And 3, a fund is widely diversified if it does not have a stated policy of concentrating its investments in any industry, business, or single country other than the United States, or bonds of a single state within the United States. Interesting. Note to paragraph C, the fact that an investment fund qualifies as an accepted investment fund is not relevant to a determination as to whether the investment qualifies for an exemption to the criminal conflict of interest statute at 18 U.S.C. 208A, pursuant to Part 2640 of this chapter, some accepted investment funds qualify for exemptions pursuant to Part 2640, while other accepted investment funds do not qualify for such exemptions. If an employee holds an accepted investment fund that is not exempt from 18 U.S.C. 208A, the ethics official may need additional information from the filer to determine if the holdings of the fund create a conflict of interest, and should advise the employee to monitor the fund's holdings for potential conflicts of interest. That was different. In my head, I'm like thinking Nancy Pelosi, conflict of interest, stuff like that. That's for trusts, estates, and investment funds. Now, let's look up this 26. Move out of my way thing. Come on, move it, move it, move it. I gotta move you over here so I can get over here. All right, we're gonna look up 26. 26. Come on, come on. Trying to change you. Yeah, we want to go somewhere else now. We're done with you. 26 CFR 1.856-1. Yeah, I have to search it with Google. Some people use a DuckDuckGo and they probably would get to there better. I think I found it right here. Definition of real estate investment trust. Why do they have so many? Law Cornell, that's the one we want to look at. When you try to look for stuff, there's so many different distractions. Makes you want to look at everything, but you can't because time, you know. All right, so right here, definition of real estate investment trust. In general, the term real estate investment trust means a corporation trust or association which, one, meets the status conditions in section 856A and paragraph B of this section, and two, satisfies the gross income and asset diversification requirements under the limitations of section 856C and 1.856. Who is blowing up my iPad with all this? Come on, be quiet. B, qualifying conditions. To qualify as a real estate investment trust, an organization must be one, which is managed by one or more trustees or directors. What? This is a definition of real estate investment trust. Whoa. 2, the beneficial ownership of which is evidenced by transferable shares or by transferable certificates of beneficial interest. 3, which would be taxable as a domestic corporation, but for the provisions of Part 2, subchapter M, Chapter 1 of the Code. 4, which in the case of a taxable year beginning before October 5th, 1976, does not hold any property other than foreclosure property. Whoa, that's wild. Primarily for sale to customers in the ordinary course of its trade or business. I'm thinking about those timeshares that they go into, like, you know, default or foreclosure or whatever, and then they get taken over by corporation. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. So anyways, 5, which is neither one, a financial institution to which section 585, 586, 593 applies, nor 2, an insurance company to which subchapter L applies. 6, the beneficial ownership of which is held by 100 or more persons. And 7, which would not be a personal holding company as defined in section 542 if all of its gross income constituted personal holding company income as defined in section 543. C, determination of status. The conditions described in subparagraphs 1 through 5 of paragraph B of the section must be met during the entire taxable year, and the condition described in subparagraph 6 of paragraph B of this section must exist during at least 335 days of a taxable year of 12 months or during a proportionate part of a taxable year of less than 12 months. The days during which the latter condition must exist need not be consecutive, meaning one right after the next. In determining the minimum number of days during which the condition described in paragraph B6 of this section is required to exist in a taxable year of less than 12 months, fractional days shall be disregarded. Well, what's a fractional day? Like February 28th and a half? What's a fractional day? That's weird. Oh, for example, in a taxable year of 310 days, the actual number of days prescribed would be 284. 38 is that by or divided by 73 days? 310 of 365 of 355. I don't know. The fractional day is disregarded so that the required condition in such taxable year need exist for only 284 days. My head's spinning with all that. And we're not really spinning. D, rules applicable to status requirements. For purposes of determining whether an organization meets the conditions and requirements in section 856A, the following rules shall apply. 1, trustee. The term trustee means a person who holds legal title. Did you hear that? Legal title to the property. Wow. Of the real estate investment trust, and has such rights and powers as will meet the requirement of centralized management under paragraph C, subsection 301.7701-2 of this chapter, regulations on procedure and administration. Thus, the trustee must have continuing exclusive authority. Did you see that? The trustee must have continuing exclusive authority over the management of the trust, the conduct of its affairs, and except as limited by section 856D3 and 1.856-4, the management and disposition of the trust property. For example, such authority will be considered to exist even though the trust instrument grants to the shareholders or any of the following rights and powers to elect or remove trustees, to terminate the trust, and to ratify amendments to the trust instrument proposed by the trustee. The existence of a mere fiduciary relationship does not in itself make one a trustee. Whoa. Did you see this part right here? The existence of a mere fiduciary relationship does not in itself make one a trustee for purposes of section 856A1. The trustee will be considered to hold legal title. Did you see that? The trustee will be considered to hold legal title to the property of the trust for purposes of this subparagraph whether the title is held in the name of the trust itself, in the name of one or more of the trustees, or in the name of a nominee for the exclusive benefit of the trust. 2, beneficial ownership. Beneficial ownership shall be evidenced by transferable shares or by transferable certificates of beneficial interest and subject to the provisions of paragraph C of the section. Must be held by 100 or more persons, determined without reference to any rules of attribution. Provisions in the trust, instrument, or corporate charter or bylaws which permit the trustee or directors to redeem shares or to refuse to transfer shares in any case where the trustee or directors in good faith believe that a failure to redeem shares or that a transfer of shares would result in the loss of status as a real estate investment trust, will not render the shares non-transferable. I'm really thinking kind of like about my timeshare that I have, you know, in this situation right here. Because there's like over 100 people that own the timeshare, and usually like Diamond Resorts or Hilton or whatever the name of the corporation, they usually have one CEO. I guess that would be the trustee. For purposes of the regulations under Part 2 of Subchapter M, the term stockholder, stockholders, shareholder, and shareholders include holders of beneficial interest in a real estate investment trust. That reminds me of my timeshare. I have beneficial interest, but then they made me a property owner because I'm, what are they called? I had to pay the taxes, property taxes. So this can be something I can grab right here. The term stock, shares, and shares of stock include certificates of beneficial interest. So I can say to the DA, I have beneficial interest. I'm not the owner. Why am I paying for the property tax? Hello. And the term shares includes shares of stock. 3, unincorporated organization taxable as a domestic corporation. The determination of whether an unincorporated organization would be taxable as a domestic corporation in the absence of the provision of Part 2 of Subchapter M shall be made in accordance with the provision of 7701A, 3, and 4, and the regulations thereunder, and for such purposes, an otherwise qualified real estate investment trust is deemed to satisfy the objective to carry on business. Requirement of paragraph. I'm going to grab this, Shift Command 4. I'm just going to grab all of this. I'm going to grab all of this. I'm grabbing it all because I'm going to send that to my real estate or my the DA, the district attorney of my county that I have my timeshare in, because I'm paying taxes for property. But this is under domestic corporation, and I'm not that. I'm just a people. Okay, so now property held for sale to customers. See, this is what they do in the timeshare business. In the case of a taxable year beginning before October 5th, 1966, a real estate investment trust may not hold any property other than foreclosure property. That's what they're doing with the timeshare business. They're getting rid of, they're foreclosing on these. That's how they're doing it. Primarily for sale. That's what they're doing to customers in the ordinary course of its trade or business, not me. Whether property is held for sale to customers in the ordinary course of the trade or business of a real estate investment trust depends on the facts and circumstances in each case. Personal holding company. A corporation, trust, or an association, even though it may otherwise meet the requirements of Part 2 of Subchapter M, will not be a real estate investment trust if, by considering all of its gross income as personal holding company income under sections 543, it would be a personal holding company as defined in section 542. Thus, if at any time during the last half of the trust's taxable year, more than 50% in value of its outstanding stock is owned directly or indirectly under the provisions of section 544 by or for not more than 5 individuals, the stock ownership requirement in section 542A2 will be met, and the trust would be a personal holding company. Oh. The trust would be a personal holding company. I bet these car dealerships are also a personal holding company, and they're trying to get all of those cars sold to customers, right? See subsection 1.857-8, relating to record requirements for purposes of determining whether the trust is a personal holding company. E, other rules applicable to the extent that the other provisions of Chapter 1 of the Code are not inconsistent with those under Part 2 of the Subchapter M thereof and the regulations thereunder. Such provisions will apply with respect to both the Real Estate Investment Trust and its shareholders in the same manner that they would apply to any other organization which would be taxable as a domestic corporation. For example, I think I can put you over here for now because you're bugging me. Number 1, taxable income of a real estate investment trust is computed in the same manner as that of a domestic corporation. 2, Section 301 to distributions of property applies to distributions by a real estate investment trust in the same manner as it would apply to a domestic corporation. 3, Sections 302, 303, 304, and 331 are applicable in determining whether distributions by a real estate investment trust are to be treated as an exchange for stock. Oh. 4, Section 305 applies to distributions by a real estate investment trust of its own stock. 5, Section 311 applies to distributions by a real estate investment trust. 6, except as provided in Section 857D, earnings and profits of a real estate investment trust are computed in the same manner as in the case of a domestic corporation. 7, Section 316 relating to the definition of a dividend, applies to distributions by a real estate investment trust. And 8, Sections 341 relating to collapsible corporations applies to gain on the sale or exchange of, or a distribution which is an exchange for a stock in a real estate investment trust in the same manner that it would apply to a domestic corporation. F, unincorporated status required for certain taxable years. In the case of a taxable year beginning before October 5th, 1976, a real estate investment trust must be an unincorporated trust or unincorporated association. Oh. This is for unincorporated status. Okay. Accordingly, in applying the regulations under Part 2 of Subchapter M of the Code, with respect to such a taxable year, the term an unincorporated trust or unincorporated association is to be substituted for the term a corporation, trust, or association. Each place it appears in the reference to directors and corporate charter or bylaws are to be disregarded. Whoa, that's weird. So if you're unincorporated status, which I think we are, we're not incorporated. We don't have an LLC or a C Corp or an S Corp. So we're unincorporated. And then here's all these things to look at down here, which I still don't know what it all means. But that was interesting and boring at the same time. Anyways, thank you, PJ, for sending me that. I don't know what it means yet, but I'll have to listen to this again to see what it means, because I just read it and I don't know that I comprehend it all.